Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it, and I'm going to start with, I'm just going to stick with this year being an election year in the city of Pittsfield. So, and forgive me, I was out all day. First day really out in the woods, and it's beautiful. What a beautiful day to be out. But I was out in the woods and on the water, and yeah. So anyway, and I hope everyone got a chance to get out and enjoy this. I can't believe how nice it is, and it's finally coming. And I personally, I've been saying this to people, and I know I drifted off topic for a second there. I tend to do that. Being out there in the woods, the first thing I started noticing a couple weeks, and I when I say the woods, I cover a lot of territory around here, up to the mountain, up to the fire tower on Lenox Mount, and then all the way through Pittsfield, from Richmond down through Pittsfield, along the side of the tracks, heading that way, literally like right through Pittsfield and up into Dalton. I've covered some massive territory walking with a camera. But anyway, what's really standing out to me is the amount of distance I've covered, how dry everything is. Areas where right now there should be enough water in there where you have geese and ducks that are nesting. And it's mud, and I'm seeing that in quite a few places, and it's unbelievably dry. So my gut intuition is telling me I feel like we're going to have a super hot summer, and we're going to have to be cautious, I think, with water. And I hope I'm wrong. This is just my gut feeling, so I'm not telling everybody. But, I'm seeing too much of that. This time of year, everything should be full. I mean, it's spring, and so it's a little concerning. So anyway, back to the politics. So I think being an elections year, that it's pretty much gonna dominate local news. It should, because the way it works, starting April 2nd, which was Good Friday. That was the day that the city clerk's office was open, and it was available for incumbent city councilors, school committee members, and the city clerk herself, I believe, and anybody who wants to run for office to come in and pull nomination papers. And what that means is you go in, you get the papers, and then from that point, there's requirements you need to do. There's a certain amount of signatures you need to get. And then you submit them back to the city clerk's office, and when you meet those requirements, then you get placed on the ballot for the primary election, which will be in September. And the top two vote getters from each contest in the primary election will go on to the general election in November, and then the winner of that will either become a new city councilor or another term as city councilor, school committee, and again, I believe the city clerk. And the city clerk's office, that's a funny one. It's a very important position. And it's one that's often ignored. And, every time there's a mayoral election, and there isn't this year, the mayor is not on the ballot this year. This is, I'll call them our midterm elections. But now that the mayor is a 4-year term, which is I can't stand, regardless who the mayor is. I think it's too much. But now that that's a 4-year term, you still have 2 years on the city council. I hope they don't try to change that. That'll be the next thing they want to do, is change that to 4 years. Next thing you know, we'll be paying benefits to anybody who ever gets elected council. They'll all get there and stay long enough to collect benefits. But anyway, now that the mayor isn't on that, it does kind of change things. But what I was saying is, every time there is a mayoral race in Pittsfield, you always see a few candidates pop up that have never been involved in Pittsfield politics before, and they're often people we know in the community that are well known. They throw their hat into the race, and they often lose because they come out of nowhere and they jump in, and then they disappear and we never see them again. And sometimes, and a lot of the times, the reason for that is they get in and then they realize how dirty it is, or they experience how dirty it is, and then they go, wow, never again. And that's a very common thing. I've heard that a lot. But that's why, in my opinion, I always tell people, if you're thinking about running for mayor, and this isn't something you have to do, but if you're thinking about running for mayor, it does help if you become a city councilor first, or I think city clerk. And obviously with the city clerk, our current mayor, I'm sure, wouldn't disagree with me. She was the city clerk. She was appointed city clerk by Jim Roberto, and then she was elected, because that is an elected position. And I forget why she was appointed. Somebody left in the middle of a term, or it's a very powerful, important position that people forget about. And rather than just, if you're going to run for mayor, and, you know, to the type of candidates that say, I'm going to go in, because usually it's an issue that fuels somebody to do that, something really making them mad. And then they say, yeah, well, I'm going to run for mayor. And again, that happens a lot, and a good intent is there. And then often they find out it's the dirtiest politics you could imagine, and they go, wow, woof, I'm out. So, but the city clerk's office, I'd like to see somebody run for that. And I believe that is on the ballot this year. Nobody runs for that. It's such an important position. And if you want to run for mayor, and you're thinking about that, and I've heard a lot of people say that, I'm going to run for mayor, and I know a lot of people say that, run for the city clerk's office, and then run for mayor. And use that as a stepping stone to learn, to gain, you know, what you need to gain to be an effective mayor, if you're seriously considering that and very serious about running for mayor. So I hope people pay attention to that, and I'll verify that, but I'm 99% that is on the ballot this year. But I'll double check. I could be completely wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. It would probably be the second or third. So anyway, you're going to see a lot about new candidates coming out. I'm hoping to interview as many as possible, including all our incumbents. That invitation is extended to all our current city councilors, school committee members, city clerk, anybody who's running. You know, I always do as many interviews as possible. I know a lot of them probably won't, and I know the ones that probably won't, but I hope they do. The invitation is always open. And I'm already lining some things up with some new candidates right now. I've got a lot in the works. So I'm going to build a section on the website that'll be dedicated to, it'll be called Know Your Candidates. And it'll have bios, videos, you know, and it'll allow people to really get to know them. And as many as the candidates that want to participate, I'm going to offer that to all of them. I think it's important, you know. So that's really it on that. You know, we'll see. There's going to be a lot of press. The mayor's already been out speaking about it. And, you know what, that's another, I got to mention, because this you often hear a lot, and I've heard this from city councilors, and some of you will know who I'm referring to. But when you're talking about these elections, like the mayor was out recently the other day, and she was doing I think it was a radio station. Yeah, it was a radio. And some interview and talking about politics and what her future might be and what the other candidates are doing. And one of the people conducting the interview was like, well, you know, you have all these people on Facebook who think they know how to run the city, you know, and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, when I hear that kind of mentality, it's like, oh, yes, God forbid anybody critique a public servant. How dare anybody? How dare somebody do that? But the reality is everyone, every taxpayer, everyone should speak up. Those are public servant jobs. And as long as you're not being mean, you have a right to put your opinion out there as much as possible. That's the beauty of social media, and that's why a lot of people hate it. Social media caused the Arab Spring. You know, it freed people in the Middle East. They used social media to organize, and it truly is. I don't think even the creators of it intended it to be what it is. But it has allowed people to really connect and listen to each other and get other information out there. And it's up to the people on what they decide. And again, as long as you're not being mean, get out there. Don't listen to people like that. One of our city councilors even said, I was elected to make these tough decisions. A city councilor said that. After I stopped laughing, I got mad. You were not elected to make tough decisions. You were not elected to put your own platform in there. You were elected to do what your constituents want. You're a ward councilor, a city councilor. City councilors are elected to be the voice of the constituents. They're elected to be their representation to City Hall. It'd be no different than if you were in a union and you were the union steward. You're not put there to do what you want. You're put there to do what all these people say, hey, this is what we want. That's what you're there to do. You want to get involved in legislation and you have your own ideas and you want to get in that type of politics, city politics are not for you. Any city politician or at least city councilor that believes that they're elected to put their own agenda and platform in there obviously does not understand what that job is about. And when you make it about yourself, you should be voted out quickly because it's about what your constituents want. It's not personal. It ain't about you. I got it. So anyway, we're already hearing that. It didn't discourage me, but it caught my attention with the mayor the other day when the one of the people interviewing her said that. And I thought, oh, come on, really? I mean, Facebook is one of the most powerful tools out there along with Instagram and TikTok. And, I mean, WhatsApp. I mean, there's so many different formats that are heavily being used right now. I jumped into Twitter. I'm not a Twitter person, but I did open a Twitter account the other day. Just not sure what to do with it. Okay. So I'm running out of time. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. I did get a chance to speak to John Krol. So we had a great conversation. We spoke on the phone for a couple hours, and it was the first time we spoke, and it was great. So to all the rumors, and we'll squash all the rumors out there. It's official. We're actually dating now. Just kidding. But I had a great conversation with John. Some people sent, and the reason I said that, I've already gotten some messages telling me that, that he's the devil. And I thought, wow, that sounds like Kathy Bates' character in The Waterboy. He's the devil. Anyway, I thought I had a great conversation with John. I really enjoyed talking to him, and we're trying to get together and plan some stuff in the future where we can do some interviews and stuff like that and do it safely. As everyone knows, there's the spike in this other wave of coronavirus, and I want to talk about that stuff later on, not right now. And but anyway, I hate doing Zoom, but right now it really is the only way. So anyway, that did happen. So I'm excited about that. I really am. John and I differ on many, many issues. We have opposite opinions, but we got along great. And I think that's healthy, and that's healthy for the community. I told John I was sad when he left because he, and I won't dive into the specifics of this, but I'm going to use the district attorney's race, for example. John and I were on complete opposite sides of that race. And I'm going to be honest, we were the two most important parts of that election as far as exposure. And I believe that. The John Krol Show brought a ton of exposure to that election. And I know what I did on the other side of the fence. So that's the importance of social media also. I believe that. Gives you alternatives. And if you don't agree with me, I mean, if everyone agreed with me, that'd be frightening. I'd probably run. So I know I'm wrong I don't try to be right about everything. But anyway, it's not about me. It's just a platform where it's about everyone. That's what I'm trying to create. A platform where I can get everybody involved and do interviews and get a different voice out there that people have, I think, the whole story. Or at least the other part of the story that's missing from stuff that's often said. So I know I'm running out of time here, and I could go on and on and on. So that is it for now, and everyone enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll get back into the whole political thing starting on Monday.